So Luton Town have been relegated, giving in a good fight, but coming to the end in the Premier League. But despite relegation, Rob Edwards has done a good job getting a contract to stay at Luton longer. And that is why today he does stay on as Luton Town manager to finish what he started after Nathan Jones left, as he does now have a challenge with Luton back in the Championship to take them from the EFL all the way to the top. And yeah, you just saw the manager in question, as here is the team in question. We've got to rebuild this thing, which is in a really weird formation. The captain Barkley's not here anymore. We're going to get rid of him, and we are going to in challenge format. As yes, we can just sell him and accumulate a bit of fees, but the other objectives make it harder what we've got to do with the money, as we need to sign each season at least one failed wonder kid, because Ross Barkley was kind of that, Andros Townsend, one of those kind of players. Not quite failed wonder kids, but not reach world-class status, as the other objective is one signing from the EFL each season, as that is Luton's kind of realistic transfer policy, and the other thing, of course, lift the Champions League title. As before we look at the budget, I want to get rid of players. I want an immediate promotion back to the Prem, so this is the shortlist. Or should I say off list, because Townsend, Barkley and Woodrow, I want to get rid of them all. And I really want to change the shape of the team. But unfortunately, I just think with the players Edwards has signed previously in the Premier League, we're stuck with this Christmas tree shape. And it is a big shame, as the first thing that's a shame is we are going to release Albert Sambi Lokonga from his loan deal. Because of course, in real life that has expired and we've got 15 million to spend here with Luton in the Championship. And the first player I want to sign actually ticks off both objectives straight away in this save. Dan James, the Welsh right mid. I mean, let's be honest, this man did sign for Manchester United, just flatlined, and then of course ended up with Leeds in the Championship, which is a fellow EFL team, so it's an EFL signing, Welsh signing, just like Edwards is. It just seems to align. And besides, very cheap, only 6 million of our budget, so the first player to get involved in a Luton shirt is Dan James. Which still leaves us with 9 million to sign whoever we want in the Championship, which is a Championship budget in itself. And we still have Ross Barkley to sell, as that's what we're gonna do. But before that, another Dutch player to join Tithe Chong, Thomas Ballon from Feyenoord. Just what the doctor ordered, slightly overpaid on this man, but I think we could still squeeze maybe one more signing out. But to be fair, our team, looking at it in that menu, just looks strong enough as it is. Maybe we just get some coaches. As there we go, we've got a few stars to higher the players' ratings as the tactical vision. I'm gonna go with wing play. Maybe I could have started an academy, but it doesn't matter anymore now. We are at the end of the season, and we are into the playoffs. Norwich City we're against, with Sheffield United or Watford waiting. Which playoff position did we finish in, though? Did we finish high up? Let's have a peek, shall we? It is 6th. Okay, 16 defeats. Not good for a 6th place club. And not where we wanted to be. As speaking of where we want to be, we're trying to hit 30,000 subscribers before the end of the Euros, which I believe is now next week. So it's going to be very, very difficult, but we are trying to stay strong. And could you help us reach that? I'd be eternally grateful, as we need to change this team around. And Abayo the first change. And that's about it for now. Dan James not worked out, very unhappy, same as Ballon. I don't like the morale of the players, but we've got to trust them. And yeah, bloody Ross Barkley. We couldn't sell him for love nor money, but now he's joining Galatasaray on a free at the end of his contract. Yeah, not good at all. And Dan James, why are you unhappy? You have scored 17 goals alongside Elijah Adebayo. Mpanzu scoring a lot of goals as well, as James got himself suspended as we draw with Norwich 2-2. And we've just got to keep the faith, although we're at Carrow Road. Without Dan James, can we win? We find a way to win! Chong with the goal, which sends us to the playoff final. Oh my days, and it's a derby. A Rob Edwards derby and all. He managed Watford before going to Luton. History repeats itself as Luton promoted on penalties. And I know the team got relegated the season before last, but I think it's still a huge achievement to bounce back, because that team on paper should not be in the Premier League and will take a lot of work, as we've lost a few loanees, making our job a lot more difficult, as of course we lose Ross Barkley, making our highest rated player 77 than 76. I think the first thing we've got to do, hey, we've got Ryan Giles back, who has left in real life, but we need to change the formation, as I'm taking no chances going back to a defensive formation where we can change James and Chong into wingers, which should up their rating, and leaving us really with only a right back really needed. And I know we've just got another player back. Where is he? McAtee, my favourite football player in the world. Played for my club, Grimsby Town right there, so he will be sticking with us. Maybe, of course, not playing, as £54 million, actually quite a bit for Luton, but who do we sign? As we need a Streets Won't Forget player, and I believe I have just found one. Now, maybe we change the formation again to get a cam involved, as Chupa Apcom could be it. He's always fluttered around the EFL, but he's not in the EFL, so he doesn't count towards it. But he is a player I consider to be a bit of a failed wonder kid. He did have a lot of hype at one point, and only just settled at the Championship. But he's got his Prem move now, and oh, that's a long time. Maybe he stays as a striker. Maybe we go to 2 up top, keeping our wide men as midfielders, as there's another wide man right here, Jared Bowen of Brentford. Now we are definitely going to sign, as look at this, Brentford are in the Championship. He has hopped around London a lot, from West Ham, Brentford to now Luton, as the English international must have made a huge mistake going to Brentford, but he's right here now, and he's cost 30 million. A lot of money, actually 35 million, but we needed to save him from his move because he had a long-term contract, leaving us a little bit skint, but we have sold Ryan Giles, giving us 13 million now to go and get a desperately needed midfielder, which is this man, Alexander Prass from Sturm Graz in Austria, only 23-year-old. 76 overall, as this man's going to step into our very new look team, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. A couple of position changes going on, as only 2 completed so far. Dan James to a left mid, that doesn't change much, but Jared Bowen to a cam, as this is the new look. Yes, a lot of players out of position, including our left wing back Doherty, threading into the midfield, but he's a passer of the ball next to a prasser of the ball in Prass, and Bowen just in front of him, Adebayo and Akpom. Good striking partnership for Luton in this league, but with 3 at the back, we are definitely going to be playing counter-attack. I don't feel confident, but one thing I'm confident is the quality of today's sponsor, or everyday sponsor. It is Soccer Deal Shop, who do cheap, replica, very good quality kits. And if you do want one, MWS 10 for a discount on top of discounts that might already be going on, and you can click the link in the description to get to the page. It is a win-win if you don't want to pay ridiculous prices, as I was stuck between saying ridiculous or ludicrous, as this team is ridiculously good. Not over the top though. Our defense is improving, but our attacking prowess in Bowen and Apcom. What an improvement by the signing. In fact, all 4 signings. Beeling doing very well. Prass extraordinary. Dan James just has to catch up a little bit, but he did get 6 goals behind Apcom and, of course, Jared Bowen. And that's a lot of Prem goals. As you can see, we did survive 15th in the league, sending a couple of other teams down, as we actually didn't look too badly in danger. I very much enjoy that. But we've got to keep going. We didn't save much budget, and I am going to sim to see who won the FA Cup. Maybe we could get into Europe. But who am I kidding? We don't stand a chance, but then a relegated team won it in Crystal Palace on penalties. Fair play, Eagles. Leicester make both finals as the winners of the Carabao is Newcastle United. And then a man can dream, the Champions League Real. But we've got a long way to go, as let's see what we do season 3. And I haven't really addressed it, but of course, 1, we need to change Alfie Doherty's position, but 2, Tommy Lockyer. I am keeping him, of course, at the club, and I know everything that's happened in real life, but the reason I am keeping him is to kind of show faith that he can play football again, as he is doing in this save, as £30 million. That's our budget. It's gone down a little bit, and to be fair, gonna be hard to sign 2 players, which of course we need to do, but we could sell one. Alfie Doherty could get sold, or also Dan James, as I'm training Doherty as a left midfielder and he could take his rating over, already 79, and James 78, who I would like to keep on the bench, but it's defense we need to improve. Nakamba is a centre-back, or trained to be a centre-back, and we'll move him onto the left, but we could maybe replace Teden Mengi, who's good and all, but we do need to get a player in, and Eric Bailly. I'm gonna count this as a failure, because come on, did he really live up to the hype at Man United? Yes, he was a good player, but he didn't reach the heights. And I swear at one point he was scoring goals for the fun of it at United, as he's only cost 4 million, so I did get him for very cheap. Actually taking Nakamba out whilst he trains as a centre-back, so there, we do have a new captain in town. But preferably we need a new centre mid in town most. From the Championship, of course. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Ooh, as a player trapped down here. He could be considered a failed wonder kid again. Matteo Guendouzi. Although I don't think he's failed, I would love to have this man here, but he's probably over our money, but I really want to have him, so I'm going to throw Dan James in there along with all the money we have, and they're not going to accept it. No, we can't get a deal. We cannot get a deal. So Oliver Glasner gatekeeping, Guendouzi in the Championship, which sucks, but happens, as this man, Mariba from Norwich, who we beat, and should be a little bit cheaper. Mariba has joined, and he's into that midfield. We can swap them 2 around, and we look stronger there. The position I'm thinking about next is goalkeeper. Kaminski, he is brilliant, really. As the man I am thinking about is Matteo Epolo. He does have a lot of catching up to do, but he will only be on the bench season 1. As here he is, arriving from Belgium, 20-year-old, 71 rated. I hope he can just grow. And isn't Kaminski from Belgium? He is, so he'll be a good mentor. I've only just realized that as well, so good. We're all set to hopefully survive again. As that's all I'm aiming for again. I just want to survive, and that month is very mixed. And I like the look of the last game. It did say Cup, as look at the teams going down. Brentford, Brighton and Wolves. We could steal some of their players, as we need one from the EFL, and we finished 13th in the league. It's an improvement. Very slow, but still an improvement. Yeah, not much budging in the league, but in the FA Cup. Wow. Luton Town will play in Europe, as we beat Manchester United 1-0 to get our hands on an FA Cup trophy. Absolutely huge. 2 trophies already. Who did we beat to get there? We beat Leeds, United's rivals. Leicester, okay. It looks like, oh, there's Spurs there. I was going to say it was an easy run, but it wasn't with Spurs, as Manchester City win the Carabao. No domestic double, but you never know. Maybe a community shield, as Kaminski didn't play that much, because Apollo actually stepped in. He's gone to a 73 rating, as these are the starters, and Chong gets straight out, mate. Dan James steps in to a very capable Luton side. With some brilliant signings made, Jarrod Bowen being the best one, Pras, Apcom, even Thomas Beelin, who's transfer listed himself, and two of them players I just mentioned, Bowen and Akpom, scoring the most goals. A European Luton. I just don't believe it. I do feel like Luton, famous last words here, but are decent to rebuild. You get a bit of money in the championship as 46 million. Not much for the Europa League. Which do we target, you know? I mean, I do, of course, want that trophy, but no pressure on it. Is it time Kaminsky steps out for a polo? Or if we could find maybe a goalkeeper who was underhyped, maybe bring him in for a season? As we know how important they are, but we will start with our wonder kid, or failed wonder kid, shall we say, Karamoko Dembele. You guys might not know this one, but this kid was playing for Celtic when he was literally like 14 or something, but it didn't work out. And now he's at Blackpool, actually picking his form up a little bit, so yeah, you could say he's failed, but still trying. As he's reached a 75 rating here at Go Ahead Eagles for only 8.3 million, he can be Bowen's backup because we'll be training him as a cam, and I do think he'll work out there, giving us the rest of the budget to find some defenders, and some from the EFL, of course, as Jan-Paul van Heck, relegated with Brighton, doing very decent in real life with the Seagulls. And in my opinion, well, he's definitely too good for the championship, as here he is with Rob Edwards, joining our Dutch lineup. Or not Dutch lineup, really, but our crop of Dutch players. So we will get these back in the team. These two new brilliant signings. Dembele still on the bench, but Van Heck is going to, well, he's going to have to be the left-hand side. Centre-back in a good team, but a team that could get better as £20 million. But before we go and spend that, I do want to make a tweak. I feel like the time has come to change from just being counter-attacking. We can now go tiki-taka, try and play some decent football, especially after winning the FA Cup and being in Europe. We've got to entertain with Justin Bijlo. You guessed it, another Dutch player, and we've spent a lot of money on him, plus Thomas Kaminsky, as he'd recently signed a new contract at the Dutch champions Feyenoord, but now we've got a full 80+ squad and 70+ bench, which I'd say is good for Luton, especially in 4 seasons, but the stage we're at in the Europa League, we have to be doing better. Okay, and how have we done? I don't see any Europa League final, which I didn't expect, but some results, a couple of draws in there, and a 3-0 over Ipswich. It's good, but is it enough for an improvement in the league? Not 13th, so we have gone up in the world, or in England as, okay, 6th position, not Champions League football, but 66 points is joint with Arsenal in 4th. It's just our goal difference that have screwed us. That's a little bit disappointing, but we've gone quite far in the Community Shield. We stood absolutely no chance, but 3-1, meh. Got a goal against one of the big guns as Leicester win the FA Cup. There hasn't been a top 6 club win it as Arsenal win the Carabao. And finally onto the Europa League, where we did top our group with Anderlecht and Young Boys. I guess that's quite decent for us. Missing the preliminary, going straight into Anderlecht again. A bit of a weird draw getting them again. And hammered by Spurs. 6-1 against some London rivals is disappointing, as we do have a good team though. And 91 Jarrod Bowen. Absolutely insane, and I've got no idea how he's progressed that much. We saved his career, literally bringing him from Brentford. Imagine where he'd be at if he stayed with the Bees, as how many goals did he get? He ended up with 22, Apcom with 19, Mariba with 10 and 10, both our midfielders doing very good, and still bags of potential. As speaking of bags of potential, we need players that don't have them, of course being failed wonder kids, with 59 million to splash on the squad. As how is Karamoko not a cam by now? Come on. I guess that's why he's a failed wonder kid. Not growing into his position. And I guess you could consider Tithe Chong one, as we didn't score enough goals last year. Meaning maybe we replace Carlton Morris. Maybe get another centre-back on the bench, because we don't need another one. Or another wing-back, should I say. As can we do anything with Hashioka? Oh, I forgot I trained him as a centre-mid. A 76 rated. He's actually usable now. He can sit on the bench perfectly. So yes, we need a striker. We can also sell Chong and also sell Nakamba. And that's immediately what we'll do. Selling Chong for about 12 million. And Nakamba for a good price, actually. Back to Bruges for 3 million. Giving us a bigger budget, 75 million. We also sold, I think, Mads Jules Anderson. So our finances up a bit to get ourselves a striker as our backup man right here. We're going to actually go quite cheap with Anthony Martial. Sorry to Man United fans, but it's the second signing I've considered a failure from Man United. Bailey, now Anthony, and he has cost 8.5, a little bit over his evaluation at 31 years old. Now, I do expect a bit more for my money, but then again, I want to spend my money further with a first-team striker, Jonathan David of Canada. Do we crucially need him? No, but I do want to make up for a lot of goals we didn't get last year. What do we actually offer him? 40 million sounds good. Accept it. Go on. Thank you. Easy. That is a good price in my opinion. Although he is still lower rated than Adebayo, the OG, but of course we've gone from 0 to hero with strikers and still 21 million, but I'm gonna blow your mind here. I don't think we need a new player. We just have to trust the team. And besides, I could probably afford a couple more coaches, especially attacking ones, to get Martial still going well. We need him to score alongside all the other strikers as... Oh, okay. It's Conference League, not Europa League. So in essence, it should be an easier trophy for the Hatters as we aim for Champions League. With this squad, definitely. But Adebayo, unfortunately, an OG comes out for Jonathan David, 87, and Akpom, 85. He's gone down one at 32-year-old. You know why failed wonder kids have failed now, don't ya? As did he still score goals? I mean, he scored 20 this season, just 7 below Jared Bowen, who remains at a 91. Not bad from Jared, and definitely not bad in the league. Second, so we do have Champions League football. We aim for it, we got it, and the FA Cup. Well, Manchester United on penalties. Anything in the Carabao? They lose on penalties. Wow, so all about penalties for United. Champions League, I'm gonna check. That is the finale, as I'm hoping we're in the finale for the Conference League. Come on, we do need another trophy now. 18.6 wins and into the round of 16 where we beat a good team, Wolfsburg. Then the quarterfinals where we did lose to Lazio, so it won't be a trophy going into the Champions League season, which is concerning because we do want to win a better trophy now. Oh, and wait, did we make a signing last season from the Championship? Hang on, I can't remember. Martial came from Palace, and Palace are Prem this year. I don't know if they was last. Maybe we've just failed the objectives. So in order to kind of pass them, I feel like this year we've got to sign 2 EFL players. And we've definitely got the money to do so. And a squad already looking absolutely fine. So we just need them 2 players plus a failed wonder kid. And I know why our budget is so bloody high this year. Only 19 players at the club. Not good for a Champions League team. So we've got to go out there and prioritise players first. We're not going to go for the EFL ones. We're going to go for Gabriel. An Arsenal player in real life and costing us 47 million, which isn't that bad, but he still is 30 years old. And he's not a failed wonder kid either. So that means apart from this, we do have to sign 3 players. We do have 100 million to do so. And I'm going to the EFL first. It's a shame, really, we're so good because we just have to only sign, really, from good championship clubs. No one in League 1 or 2 is going to make us any better, as the first player that I click on, Christopher Ayer, as he comes along, a very experienced centre-half in the top tiers with Celtic and Brentford, and I think a very shrewd signing. But he won't be the only one coming from the Bs, as B for backups, because Ayer's a backup, and also this man here, Hakon Valdimarsson. I know we had Epolo, but still, I do think we need a better quality backup keeper. So them two into the club, and I do feel bad for Tom Lockyer. If we do reach the Champions League final, I would love for him to get minutes. As speaking of minutes, it's took too many for Karamoko to change to a cam, but it has took his rating up one, which is very good for him, but a player that isn't going up at all. He's in fact retiring at the end of the season, Anthony Martial. So with 66 million, we need a failed wonder kid. I mean, they shouldn't cost that much. They're failed for a reason. And because we have the money and the high status we do, we'll go for the best failed player of all, Fabio Silva. If Rob Edwards can revive the man on the bike right there, he deserves a knighthood, because that is some achievement. Getting the number 9 shirt and sitting on the bench straight away because he's not getting near the first team, that looks secure. But is it secure enough to get through in the Champions League? Apart from Bayer Leverkusen, I think we should progress. But let's just see, really. I mean, minimum Europa League, which we haven't been in before. Skipping it for the conference. As this team, well, the first change, definitely Chupa Apcom, who we can take straight out of the team. Welcome back to Elijah, one of the OGs, as our midfield triangle's insane, our defense is insane. Wingers and goalie, though? Not exactly the best. We do have 3 decent goalkeepers, though, and where's Christopher Ayer? Has he already left the club? Unbelievable betrayal, as 29 goals and 11 assists, 40 goal contributions for Jonathan David. Jared Bowen with 15, Mariba with 13 and 11 assists. This Guinean has done brilliantly, but has he proven brilliant in the Premier League? Not in the bottom 13. What a change of scenery, as it's a Prem win. 6 seasons deep, I believe. Hopefully I'm not wrong on that one. Rob Edwards has masterminded the Hatters to the top of the table. Do love to see it, as FA Cup not played yet. Carabao Cup, maybe? Nope. Not another trophy. I mean, I guess we've already won one, as we did win our group stage game straight into the next round. We beat Leipzig on penalties. 4-1, damn. We must have been 3-0 down in the first game, as then Barcelona, we beat 2-0 in one leg. Drew the other, as Real we beat as well. But Juventus, wow, beating Paris 7-0. Gonna be a nervy final, but we do have the old lady, and the Hatters have to come out on top again. After a strict set of rules, it is the Premier League toppers against 4th place in Serie A. Maybe we stand a chance still. All the way from non-league to the Premier League to Championship to back to the Premier League, with some very failed players. Super Robbie Edwards has built these Hatters up amazingly. Dan James still in the team. Completely forgot about him. Gonna have to be at his best to beat a Juventus team that aren't messing around. 7-0 against Paris. I could never do that, as Jared Bowen, our main man, slipping a decent shot in as a corner. Come on. These haven't worked out very well for us, but still, edge of the box, a shot into someone's face, and another shot at that bottom corner. We want a goal in that direction. Then again, Chevalier's got it covered, as Pras, one of our first signings, long range, good shot, goes to the right-hand side of the keeper, and wins yet another corner, as we'll go for an outswinger. Why is there no one at the near post? Mariba hits the post. Or maybe it took a save, but a brilliant corner as Pras takes another shot on. Please, someone try and tap that in. Fine start from us, as we've nicked the ball off them as well. And it's Doherty into Mariba. Mariba hits it at the goal. And when it usually goes like this, it means they're going to get one counter-attack and go and score themselves, as Jonathan David, he powers up a shot and stings the gloves of Chevalier again. The goalkeeper is on fire as the halftime whistle goes. 0-0 somehow. And I just know how this game is going. We'll find a way to slip behind. I just feel it in my toes. As Dan James stealing the ball, though. Doherty, a good ball through. And now Jared Bowen. Can we get close to the goal? Because all of his shots are from range as Jared Bowen. My days. That's close to the goalkeeper. Close once more. And Bremer putting the ball out wide into Timmy Weah. Don't. Juventus, you don't have permission. As a good tackle from Mengi. It's their first flurry forward. And Alfie Doherty. Maybe it might just take a counter-attack. Doherty allowed to run. Adebayo, make a move, please. We'll go through the middle into Bowen. And there's a run on this side from Jonathan David. How? Just how? I'm sure they're ex-teammates, as he allowed him to save it on purpose, but still, we'll go again. And Alfie Doherty on the wing, he squeezed past his man rather easily. Into Mariba, he's running the show in the middle of the park. Bowen was on right there, but we didn't play it to Jared Bowen. A little bit too far out wide. James kept the ball, though, and it's fallen to Mariba again. Round the corner, Jared Bowen. Oh my days, keeper! Let the ball go in as we've made a change. Fabio Silva, maybe he could take a shot on, and it's not far from Fabio. He's come on for Elijah, and now Dan James, he needs to come on and just bloody perform in this game. A pass into Prass, who's got round their press, and can he put the ball over the top into Dan James? Oh my days, what a save from the keeper. But play goes on still. Can we win a penalty or something because we're not breaking through this back line? But Dan James, try and run it. He needs to get past his man somehow, and he's just been tackled by Gatti, which leads to the end of the game. And I can't believe it's extra time. Unreal. How have we not scored, and how are we going again? I bet we do score straight away. It's just sod's law that we've gone to extra time, a bit like England against Slovakia, as a ball over the top for Fabio Silva. Can he be the man to break the deadlock? It may fall to Jonathan David. Absolutely dreadful. And I've just noticed right now, as they've passed the ball to us, they are playing 5 at the back, which is hard to get round, but Fabio Silva has been brilliant since he's come on, and a ball in the middle. Jonathan David finally breaks the deadlock. Luton have the lead, and they finally have to get out of their shape, as I can't believe I'm saying it, but Fabio Silva, the hero. Fabulous since he's come on, but the game's far from over as Vlahovic, he has not been impressive in the Euros for Serbia, but he could cause a surprise shock if he gets the ball through the gap right there. Vlahovic out wide. Juventus know they've got to play, and please, oh my days, I had a feeling they'd give a penalty, but they haven't, as we're chasing the ball down. Please get around to them. Bad tackle from David, but it's a free kick just in the half and headed away by Ted Mengi. Silva into David. Jonathan David to try and run away, and the referee blows the whistle. No more time left in the game. Luton win 1-0, as finally a Champions League to add to all them other trophies. Well done, Hatters. And well done, Super Rob Edwards. Done very well for himself, and the captain is going to lift it. Jared Bowen, who we saved his career from Brentford, of course. The Bees wasn't doing him any favours, but here at Luton Town, he's lifting the Champions League trophy, which I definitely think he wouldn't have imagined. As if you want to rebuild with any other club, comment them down below, or click here for one you may have never seen before.